Hello YouTube, this is Russian Torts here, and in today's video we're going to be talking about if Russian tortoises make good first reptiles. Before we delve into that, I'm going to have some quick administrative issues real quick for my subscribers. So if you're not a subscriber, tune out for the next like 30 seconds or so and then you can come back. Right now I'm not uploading a lot of videos. I have a lot of schoolwork to do, so the videos are going to be irregular. Sometimes I might upload like 2 or 3 videos a day and then I won't be uploading for like half a month. So I know this is kind of annoying as a person who's subscribed to other people as well on YouTube. I totally get that, but there's just nothing I can do about that right now. So now that we cleared that up, took about not even 30 seconds, we're going to jump straight into the video. Alright, so do Russian tortoises make good first pets? Interesting question. Not first pets, sorry. Do Russian tortoises make good first reptiles? Interesting questions. I'm going to answer this assuming that you've already had a pet before, so you know the kind of commitment that's involved in having a pet. You know that it requires daily care, that you need to look out for it to be ill, that you need to go to the doctor with it sometimes, that sort of thing. So assuming you already had like a pet hamster, rat, guinea pig, something like that, we're going to talk about if they're a good first reptile. And because the arguments are going to be different if you didn't have a pet already, right? Then the question is, do they make a good first pet? To which the answer is definitely no. Get, a rabbit before, get a hamster before, get a guinea pig before, and then get a reptile after. So, do they make good first reptiles? Well, first the good part about them. And I'm going to see if I can get her to move, because otherwise this video is going to be very boring. Patilla, hello. I know, I woke her from her slumber. Come under the heat lamp for us. So, I know that's kind of mean of me, but she's the YouTube star after all, right? So first the good. Russian tortoises do not need any sort of cricket, worm, and that sort of thing to be fed to them. Some people find those yucky, right? So in that sense, they make a good first reptile because you don't have that factor. Also, crickets smell, I have them right next to my bed. It's awful. I don't know how my girlfriend deals with it. So that's one reason for them to be good pets. Another reason is, and I've written all these reasons down so I don't need to have a lot of M's and M's in the video. Another reason is that they're very unique and interesting. So a lot of people have leopard geckos, a lot of people have ball pythons. I'm not saying ball pythons aren't great pets. I love my ball python, which you definitely cannot see in there. But a Russian tortoise is something where, when you're at a meet for people who have reptiles and you're like, I have a Russian tortoise, it's cool. People usually don't have tortoises. So they're very neat. And like a lot of other reptiles, they don't require frequent vet visits, but more so than others because they live for such a long time. With bearded dragons and leopard geckos, they don't live that long. Bearded dragons will probably stay around 10 years of age before they sadly pass away. So you're gonna have more frequent vet visits with them towards the end of their lifespan. Patilla, I used to take her to regular vet checkups. I stopped doing that because really there's nothing the vet does that's important right now. It's more harmful than good. So I feel like I don't need to take her to the vet for regular checkups right now. Now the bad, and there's obviously going to be a lot more bads about tortoises as first reptiles than good. They're really expensive, and this is not just involving the initial cost of acquiring a Russian tortoise, which is around $300 in Canada, and that's a steal. So if you find a Russian tortoise for $300 Canadian, buy it. That's a great price. They're more going to run around $400, $500 here. It's also expensive for them to, their setup. So it's a big setup, right? They require a lot of space. This setup cost me about $100 to make. It doesn't include the lights, right? You got a heat lamp, you got UVB, more UVB, which are expensive to run. These are big lights. This is a 100-watt heat lamp. It costs a lot of money to run a month. I'm lucky that my hydro's included, and my landlord's really pissed, but he can't do anything about that. But otherwise, it's going to cost you a lot of money to take care of a tortoise. Their diet, right, you got to buy greens every week, which isn't that bad, but still I spend around $5 a week on food for her. And the lights and the space and all of that stuff is pretty expensive. There's a lot cheaper reptiles. Leopard gecko, cheap acquisition cost. They only need a 20-gallon. They eat like a couple of crickets a week. They don't take that much money. I'm going to change angles here because my hand is starting to cramp up. Well, maybe we can look at her from up here, so I can rest my hand. Next, complicated diet. So this is, I kind of didn't want to include this point because it's not that complicated, but then I was kind of thinking about it. You know what? There's leopard geckos who really, they have crickets, mealworms, and you dust them with calcium and they're fine. So Russian tortoise diet is a lot more complicated than that. You need to feed them greens, and it can't just be lettuce. You need to have some dark leafy greens in there. So I feed kale, dandelion, mustard greens, carrot tops, that sort of thing. It's a lot of different greens that you need to prepare. Then you need to calcium powder dust them. You guys know I like to include the German dry food that I spray on top of there. That the contest winner won, by the way. So Benjamin, show yourself. So you guys know I like to spread this on top and moisten it, not every day, but sometimes. And it's a little bit more complicated than just feeding crickets. What's next? I know I said I've made a list, so I don't have to say ums and ums. I'm still saying a lot of ums. The heat and light requirements, like I said before, they're not just expensive, they're also complicated. So you need to have a hot basking spot and you need to have a UVB output. Now this is a lesser evil, really. It's a lot of reptiles require this, but it's more complicated than just having heat pads for a snake. Really not too bad though. The next bad thing for them is that there's no real interaction with the pet. Russian tortoises aren't like dogs. They're not like, oh, pet me, pet me, pet me. But I said this is not going to be about first pets, this is going to be first reptiles. However, the Russian tortoise is not going to, like it when you take it out of the cage and have it on your lap, that sort of thing. A snake, on the other hand, you can put around your neck. It's going to be just fine. It's just going to chill there. It's not going to have a problem. So there's not going to be a lot of interaction with the pet. There's a huge space requirement for Russian tortoises. I have a 4 foot by 4 foot enclosure, which is really half the size it should be. It should be 4 feet by 8 feet. So you really need to think about that before you buy that cute little Russian tortoise that fits in a 20-gallon when it's a baby, which is way too small for a baby Russian tortoise as well, because they're going to grow up to need a humongous amount of space. And they live for a very, very long time. So this is going to be the biggest point, really. And if someone's watching this because their kid is saying, oh, Mom, please buy me Russian tortoise, I will take care of it for its whole life, don't. Because the kid will get bored of the tortoise. I know, because Patilla was my first reptile. And I got bored of her. And I almost got rid of her when I was a kid. My parents are like, you know what? You bought her. You're keeping her for your life. She's your pet. She's your responsibility. So I hated having Patilla for, a couple of years of my life because I was like, I don't want a tortoise. Why? What the hell were my parents thinking? So really keep that in mind. If you're willing to have a tortoise for 80 years because your kid didn't want it, then go ahead and buy a tortoise. But do not get a tortoise just because your kid is pressuring you, wants it for his birthday, because then you're going to end up having to sell the tortoise and you're going to need to find a good home for it, and it's a lot of work. So that's really the biggest point. So in the end, do I think Russian tortoises make good first reptiles? No, I don't think they make good first reptiles for beginners. However, it's definitely not undoable because I've had Patilla all her life, all my life. I've had Patilla for 9 years, so definitely not all my life, and definitely not all her life. But she was the first reptile I ever had, and I made lots of mistakes with her in the beginning, just feeding her, grocery store lettuce. And it was definitely a big learning process, which, it's great that I'm learning, but it comes at the expense of the pet. So I definitely don't think they're a good first reptile. If you want a first reptile, go with the leopard gecko. Go with you're not even a ball python. They live 45 years as well. Go with the leopard gecko. Go with the bearded dragon. Go with something simple that doesn't live for a long time. So in case that you realize after 4 or 5 years, I don't like reptiles. It's not, you didn't have this huge money investment. You have a pet that doesn't live for much longer. So these are all reasons that you don't really want to get a Russian tortoise. Now this video's been long enough as it is. I know you guys I don't even know if anyone's still around by now. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you liked the video. See if we can get another angle on Patilla here. I know this video was a lot of talking, not a lot of exciting stuff happening in the video, but I think it's a good video to make because a lot of people are going to be wondering, hey, tortoises are cool, should I get a tortoise? And I just provided what I think is the correct answer to it. You might have a different opinion, and you're definitely entitled to that opinion. And I'd love to hear your arguments in the comment section below. I will see you guys next time. Wait, I said this the wrong way around. Like and subscribe if you like this video, and I'll see you guys next time.